Hey, what is up guys, this is your boy Tway here. This will be a video of the newest patch notes, and this will change everything because the balance patch is something crazy that will get Rebel Claws a run for his money. So let's get it popping. So starting off, we got some balance adjustments to Annette, Lavril, and Dosada, and believe me when I say this, they're all gorgeous. So let's just get over them. So the S1 will now reduce attack, and additionally another attack reduction once you got yourself into overcharge. It stays now for 10 seconds and used to be, it doesn't even say so. So the S2 will now increase the non-hero damage by 10, which is crazy, and we knew non-hero damage would be part of the whole thing, but now the S2 Lite gets transferred into the skill itself, so it will only be a 13-second cooldown. But then for the S3 it becomes even crazier, ladies and gentlemen. Part of the skill will be added, increases the magical damage taken by 25% for 10 seconds and inflicts stun for 5 seconds when the energy orb explodes. Absolutely beautiful, but ladies and gentlemen, this is still not all. S4 Lite will be transferred, which will increase part of the attack value of Annette to the rest of the team. But no, this is still not all. Let's look at the Transcendence perk. The S2 Lite, the heal effect becomes irremovable. It doesn't necessarily say whether the CC immunity stays, because if that is the actual case, then we are going to look at a new PvP character that might enable a lot of bruisers that don't have their CC immunity, such as Theo, and simply make them viable at that point. So I'm mad curious on how this is going to play out. Then the S4, the attack boost applies to all allies, and the reason why this could be interesting is because I think at some point we might run into a tendency where we will have artifacts that will allow us to run multiple damage dealer on, let's say, a world boss. Whether that will be the actual truth, I'm not quite sure, but it kind of looks like it. And the S4 overcharge duration increased 5 seconds, and upon normal attack changes the cooldown reduction affect our skills by 12%. This used to be 10 if I remember correctly, and here it states 10%. But that stuff is absolutely crazy, and the increase is 3% on the before, but after is going to be 5 seconds, so the uptime on the overcharge will be better. However, there's even more. Afterward, they changed up the Annette Dark, but it doesn't necessarily change because you get 200 attack speed of 5%, and it just states it a little bit different. But then the unique weapon, and this is where I think that Annette is going to shine. Charge stacks can also be gained during the overcharge state. Additionally, increases all allies' damage dealt to bosses by 2% and reduces all damage allies take by 2. And the effect is multiplied for the ally with the highest attack. Now this is screaming. This is literally screaming Apocalypseon. And for another thing, this is also screaming Galgoria, right? Because in Galgoria you need multiple damage dealers, which then in turn means that less damage done onto your face and more damage done to the boss. But then they did something to the soul weapon as well. Body advancement 1 will be now done onto the A0 if the target is a boss, changes the damage boost to 60%. Okay, that's great. As for the advancement 1, they pop the S2 or the A2 onto the A1, and now with the advancement phase 2, reduces skill activation requirement by 5 seconds. Additionally, reduces all enemy cooldown. Such a joke. So all ally cooldown of all skills by 0.5 seconds every second. Now, I am running her in a Eclipse team with Bernheim. Broken. I run her within a Eclipse team with Esker, and Esker takes up a long startup time to get all of his skills up, especially his S3 to make it become potent. But the fact that she can also, 1, have better heal rate increase, 2, attack reduction, and a little bit more amp to the rest of the people, because it doesn't necessarily say up on the highest attacker. I do believe this is quite interesting to have her buffed like this. So overall, I'd say a 4 out of 5, but now we're coming up at Lavril, and Lavril is going to change some things as well. And I will be running her tomorrow onto Eclipse with one of my main teams that normally gets to 78, or 74 even, on what I normally do. But watch this one. We got the S1, and part of it has been changed where it always takes 25% magical damage. But when the target is killed, resets the skill cooldown and recovers Cells Mana Orb by 1. This is insane for Eclipse, right? Because for every boss that you kill, you get a cooldown reduction, you can reapply this, and you get a Mana Orb in contrast, which means that you will use up a lot of mana, more than what you normally do. Yes, because for what I know, it costs 2 mana. Then again, you get part of it back, which is really good. As for the S2, what it seems, normally you would only get 50% critical damage and 50% of the crit damage that Lavril has, but now you get an increased attack for 20%. So my Lucicio that can already hit 74 onto Eclipse will receive more. Alright, this is not all, ladies and gentlemen, because the S3 now has a unique treasure increase, which normally gives you 3% extra damage per stack times 15, but now you got 10 stacks times 4.5. So is this necessarily a buff? I don't think so, because it is less tax, less time, but it looks good. But the UT itself, it says increase the max stack of the effect by 2, and each hit increases the magical damage it takes by 1%. I'm not sure how much this is going to change, and whether the UT3 will then be the go-to UT. That is something that we'll have to see along the lines, but it does seem like an interesting thing. However, this wouldn't be an Eclipse one. This would more be like a World Boss 1, World Boss 3, or World Boss 2 edition. But then going back to the S4, part of the skills will be applied for free. Okay, defense penetration 300, you get that one for free. All defense by 15, and non-hero damage by 8% for free. But there is a more, because this one, all crit resistance reduction to 5 Hondo. This is screaming Apocalypsion. You can wank this one down, and for 1, it is also super interesting in the challenge raids. The heal rate on the S1 by 100 when there's only one enemy. I don't think this will change much, but for some reason this could also still be used. Nah, this one is trash. But then the S2, and somebody had to point this one out to me. This is on the Bear Ups, which is the S2-2, and increases the number of attacks by 1. And basically what it does, it gives you extra magical damage upon the target, and this time by 2, which is really good. The S4 Light says changes the damage boost effect against non-hero enemies of Lavril and the ally bound with a soul link to a 12%. So we get a free 12% non-hero damage on top of everything that we already received. As for the soul weapon, I don't think it changes much. It changes the amount of time that this thing has, and the cooldown is a little bit lower. But will it really change anything? I don't think. Lavril is one of those characters that you want to A220 super fast, so in all aspects, I don't think it will change much. But then, ladies and gentlemen, Dosada, and she will completely change the meta once again. Meta currently is DOK Rebel Claws, one-shot Bonanza, at least on the EU side of things, and I have been wishing for something that could beat this, and Dosada will be the one. Because her On a Guard says the effect of let us challenge together by 2 times for 10 seconds. Great, now what does it really do? The S4 says a physical critical resistance by 250. Now, obviously this is RNG. However, you block all the damage, and part of the S4 Dark has been put onto this one, which is really good. But this is not all, ladies and gentlemen, because look at the S4 life skill. The defense boost and P crit resistance boost now becomes irremovable. So no DOK that can murder this one. No Leo that can murder this one. Great. Now for the S4 Dark. Upon activation, increases P block by the allies for 250 for 5 seconds. This effect only activates once every 10 seconds. So this makes it that you have damage windows into facing a Dulsarda. However, this is not all. And this comes up with the Dulsarda Dark, T5 Dark. Reduces all enemies' damage that ignores defense by 25%. When Dulsarda uses a skill, this effect is multiplied by 2 for 3 seconds. So if you have a Rebel Claws that wants to open up your culo, you press one of your skills and this dude is like, why don't I do any damage? Because of this, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a reflect that I was hoping for, but it is definitely something that is super insane. But we're not done yet. The unique weapon, the attack and all defense of all allies by 5% and 10% respectively, used to be 10 and 20, but it only lasted for what, 10 seconds. However, at the start of a fight, it will be multiplied by 2, which makes it exactly equal as what it used to be. But then even after 10 seconds, we will still be left with a little bit of unique weapon that you can still use. That is also sickening. But then for the Feather Wind, because we did not have enough buffs on the S4, we get a different side with a UT4. It says a P-Crit resistance boost to all allies. Absolutely great. Additionally, all allies take 6% reduced physical damage for the duration of the skill. I'm assuming this will be 15% the moment you max this out. But one way or the damn other, this stuff is absolutely sickening. And the too long didn't read on the soul weapon is basically you take more magical damage, the shield duration goes up, and for one, instead of using skills up to 6 times to activate her soul weapon, this will be lowered because the base will be lowered from 6 to 5, and at advancement 2 it will be lowered from 5 to 4. So pop yourself your S2 at the start of a fight. I think the cooldown is about 10 to 15 seconds. Pop it then once again, and you got yourself a pretty neat soul weapon, which will then give 3 characters a shield. So no matter how you look at this Dulsarda will completely change up the one-shot meta that is currently around. And my biggest question would be, in my current physical damage team, can it run over a Dulsarda and then the rest of the team? Because you got a Steam Walls, then a Dulsarda to then make the backline vulnerable. I'm not quite sure whether that is the case or how easy it's going to be, but one thing is for sure, she is going to change up a lot, and I think a lot of people will end up building her in the future. So next up is an addition to the skip ticket system, and from what I can see over here, you get 100 skip tickets, and I haven't really found out how many you get a week or if they reset. But the funny thing is, it basically allows you to skip Royal Underground Labyrinth, Otherworldly Darkness Shockman, Devourer Shockman, so both Little and Big Shockman, and your Eclipse team. And I do want to emphasize onto the Eclipse team. The reason why this is broken because it says, please note that previous battle records will be recorded within the game only if you have access and clear the battles from the Eclipse dungeon. And it says you just get whatever you got previously. Ladies and gentlemen, that stuff is crazy, and it will save you so much time. It will save me so much time. But I'm aiming this year that I can get 200 gold ethers in a single run. If I can then allow myself to do these runs continuously by just using skip tickets, that stuff is crazy. However, if you will go all the way up to the top side, it says the consumed skip ticket per battle, it says 20. So depending on if you get a few every single week or every single month, that might not be enough, because I get more eclipses than 4 or 5 every single month. So I'm not sure whether I like it all that much. However, if I don't have much time on my hands, this will be quite interesting. And now for something that I've been quite eager for, is something that would pique my interest in a new event, and the dungeon entry on the Thanksgiving defense might be that one thing. So you got a singular level, you start out with 3 tickets and you get 1 every single day. In that dungeon you need to clear an X amount of goblins, and my first question would be, which character would be really good? And when you have to kill multiple characters, Urzi seems to be the right character. However, there are only 42 heroes listed. I'm not quite sure at that point which one we are able to pick, but I'm quite curious as well. As for rewards, you got yourself level rewards into the amount of KOs that you need. And on the other hand, every single day you will be able to accumulate completion rewards up to a soul weapon with 2,000 KOs. And as a last reward is a drawn mask of Ogobrin that you can equip as well. It looks quite interesting, but I wonder whose kid at Vespa drew this one. I'm not quite sure. And for those of you who don't know or missed out on the acquisition of Valance, you will be able to do that by clearing stage 10-10. So even for all of you newbies out there, here you go, free character. Make sure to get her because she's absolutely crazy in terms of your progression. And a much needed bug fix, the S1 on Valance will be better. So normally it wasn't applied if you had an X amount of attack speed. This will make sure that it is not a problem anymore. So everybody can put down the 40% attack increase and a fixed 1000% attack speed into the trash can and simply just go with whatever you wanted to do instead. But not only that, her mana recovery per attack was abnormal to a certain degree. I'm still not sure where or how that was really changed. The S3 will then be changed again into the arena because it's located at the right team. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen this bug myself. And Elias, her S4 is going to receive part of a change because apparently that one was bugged as well, which I was not aware of. As for the events that we are looking for, we get another Ruby spinning event. And now that I look at it, not only do we get a Ruby 50k reward, which is a NPC unique weapon ticket. No, we get a Lua's artifact ticket at, oh my god, at 70k rubies. I'm not sure where Vespa's thinking that I'm pulling these rubies out of my ass, but I sure as hell know that I cannot go much further than this part. I mean this part. Oh man, this is gonna be crazy. And one thing that is much needed with the balance adjustment event, you can get some more freebies to then improve these characters, which means that you will be getting yourself Dark Legion gear, in which you can put any stat. For the newer players, if you want to build your Lavril up, make sure to take all of that on critical damage. However, if I want to point something out, I would rather have you put that one Elias on full magical defense. That will then allow you to do your Galvorias much more easily. But that's just my opinion. You do whatever you want to do. Lots of freebies that are shown here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one thing that I have to point out, and that is because of the Ruby spending event, and that is the 50% discount for all heroes and costumes. And I'm not telling you to buy then all the heroes because that would be insane, especially if you are a newer player. However, the costumes instead will allow you to get more gold, and knowing that a lot of people just tend to ask me like, how do you got so much gold? Because I got a lot of bikini costumes, not because they look good, but because they provide me with 3% extra gold increase. So I'm gonna spend all my rubies on those. That is 100% sure, because I still need what, 50 of them, which then in turn means 150% gold bonus. Ladies and gentlemen, that is something that you don't want to pass on. But ladies and gentlemen, please spend wisely. So one thing, I am massively high for the Dosada bus because it might completely change up the meta. I hope I won't see much about Rebel Claws in League of Victory because I think it's one of the most broken things currently in the game. That being said, put it down into the comments what you guys think about this current patch. Are you guys just as hype as I am? And well, if you haven't already, make sure to like and sub, and I'll see you guys into the next one.